Strike three, you're out.
August 12th, 2025, Yankees vs. Twins recap. The New York Yankees were back under the lights at Yankee Stadium on Tuesday night, facing the Minnesota Twins. And from the very first inning, this game delivered its share of momentum swings, big home runs, and standout performances on both sides of the ball. Early momentum shift. The Twins came out aggressive in the top of the first. Austin Martin wasted no time, singling to start the game and setting the table. That pressure paid off a few batters later when Royce Lewis hit a ground ball that allowed Martin to score on a fielder's choice. Just like that, Minnesota had a 1-0 lead, quieting the Yankee crowd for a brief moment. But that lead didn't last long. In the bottom of the first, Aaron Judge stepped to the plate, looking to break out of a small home run drought. With one smooth, towering swing, he crushed a solo shot deep into the seats in left center. That was home run number 38 on the season for Judge, and his first in nearly 3 weeks. The stadium came alive, and the scoreboard was reset to 1-1. Volpe turns the tide. The real momentum swing came in the second inning. With 2 runners on base, Anthony Volpe stepped in. The count ran to his favor, and when the pitch came over the plate, he didn't miss. Volpe launched a no-doubt 3-run homer into the left field seats, turning a tie game into a 4-1 Yankees lead. From that moment on, the Yankees never looked back. Volpe's blast not only put New York ahead, but it also changed the tone of the game. The Twins went from hopeful to playing catch-up. Rodón dominates the mound. While the offense was heating up, Carlos Rodón was doing his job on the mound. After allowing that leadoff single to Martin in the first inning, Rodón faced a moment of danger when the Twins loaded the bases early. But with the pressure on, he locked in and worked out of the jam without allowing another run. From there, he was nearly unhittable. Rodón retired 19 of the next 20 batters he faced, mixing his fastball and slider with precision. Over 7 innings of work, he gave up just 1 hit, struck out multiple batters, and kept Minnesota's lineup guessing all night. It was a commanding performance from a pitcher in full control. Middle inning firepower. In the 5th inning, the Yankees added to their lead. Giancarlo Stanton, who was already seeing the ball well, got a pitch over the heart of the plate and hammered it for a solo home run. That made it 5-1 and further extended the Yankees' control over the game. That homer was also part of a special stat line for Stanton. He finished the night 4 for 5, with a home run, a double, and 2 singles. His first 4-hit game in almost 2 years. It was vintage Stanton, power, contact, and clutch hitting all rolled into one. Insurance runs and closing it out. By the 7th inning, the Yankees were looking to put the game away. Cody Bellinger drew a walk. Stanton followed with a sharp single to drive him in, and the floodgates opened once again. The Yankees kept tacking on runs, using both power and small ball execution to widen the gap. The bullpen took over after Rodón's night was done, and they continued the dominance. No room for a late Minnesota rally. By the time the final out was recorded, the Yankees had secured a decisive 9-1 win. Key numbers and streaks. This win marked the Yankees' 9th straight victory over the Twins, continuing a dominant stretch in this matchup. It was also their 3rd series win since the All-Star break, showing that they're building late-season momentum. Judge and Stanton homered in the same game for just the 2nd time this season, and both were difference makers from the very first inning. Final takeaway. The Twins may have drawn first blood, but once the Yankees' bats woke up, there was no stopping them. Aaron Judge's game-tying homer, Anthony Volpe's 3-run blast to seize momentum, and Giancarlo Stanton's all-around hitting clinic gave the offense everything it needed. Add in Carlos Rodón's near-flawless 7-inning gem, and it was the perfect combination of power and pitching. The Bronx faithful went home happy, knowing their team is heating up at the right time. The Yankees look dangerous, and if performances like this keep coming, the rest of the league better take notice. August 12th, 2025, MLB recap. Let's dive into all the action from around the league last night, starting with a tense back and forth in Cleveland. Miami Marlins versus Cleveland Guardians. Final score, Guardians 4, Marlins 3. The Guardians wasted no time putting pressure on Miami. In the bottom of the first inning, Jose Ramirez crushed a 441-foot homer to left center, sending the Cleveland crowd into an early frenzy. Right after him, Kyle Manzardo followed with a back-to-back blast, doubling the Guardians' lead before the Marlins could even settle in. For much of the night, Guardians starter Logan Allen kept Miami's bats quiet. He pounded the strike zone early, racking up strikeouts while keeping runners from advancing. But the Marlins didn't go away quietly. In the seventh inning, with 2 outs and the tying run in scoring position, Hernandez stepped up and delivered a clutch RBI double into the gap, evening the score at 3-3. Unfortunately for Miami, defensive miscues in the late innings proved costly. A misplayed grounder and a missed relay throw opened the door for Cleveland to push across the game-winning run. The Guardians held on, turning what looked like a tense finish into a hard-earned victory. Seattle Mariners versus Baltimore Orioles. Final score, Mariners 1, Orioles 0. This was a pure pitcher's duel from start to finish. The game's only run came right away in the top of the first inning. Randy Arozarena reached base, and Josh Naylor stepped up with an RBI single to bring him home. That was all Seattle would need. George Kirby was outstanding on the mound for the Mariners. Over 7 scoreless innings, he allowed just 3 hits, struck out 7, and didn't issue a single walk. His pinpoint control and ability to work the corners kept the Orioles off balance all night. On the other side, Dean Kremer pitched brilliantly as well, going 8 strong innings and giving up just that 1 run. But he took a hard-luck loss thanks to the lack of offensive support. Andres Munoz came in to close it out for Seattle, slamming the door and securing a 1-0 win in one of the most tightly contested games of the evening. Toronto Blue Jays versus Chicago Cubs. Final score, Blue Jays 5, Cubs 1. Toronto jumped on the Cubs early and never really let up. Ernie Clement got the Blue Jays offense rolling with a solo home run that energized the team. Dalton Varsho joined the power surge later with a homer of his own, stretching the lead. Jose Barrios was in command on the mound for Toronto, mixing his pitches effectively to limit Chicago's chances. The Cubs struggled to generate any real rally, managing only a single run late in the game. Every time the Cubs threatened, the Blue Jays responded, either with a key strikeout, a defensive play, or another timely hit. By the late innings, the result felt inevitable, with Toronto walking away with a comfortable win. Atlanta Braves versus New York Mets. Final score, Mets 13, Braves 5. This one was all about the bats, especially for the New York Mets. Pete Alonso made history, blasting 2 home runs on the night, including his 253rd career shot, which set a new franchise record for home runs. The crowd gave him a standing ovation as he rounded the bases. But Alonso wasn't the only one going deep. Brandon Nimmo launched a 3-run homer. Francisco Alvarez put on a show with 2 long balls of his own, and Brett Baty added another to cap off the Mets' offensive explosion. The Braves had their moments in the middle innings, trying to claw their way back, but the Mets' firepower proved too much. Atlanta starter Spencer Strider was roughed up early, giving up a barrage of hits and homers. New York's bullpen kept things under control after that, making sure the lead was never in danger. By the time the final out was recorded, the Mets had not only secured a commanding win, but also etched a piece of team history into the books.